Oh, sorry. What is going on, YouTube? What's up, Raider Nation? I'm Bubba the Raider. Just woke up. Um, Taking my dog out to go to the bathroom. Remus, come on this way. Come on. Sorry. I just want to talk to you guys. I haven't been on. Been a crazy first week back at school. I'm a teacher. And so I just want to let you guys know what I thought about Monday's game and then what I think going into tomorrow. Monday's game was bad, but it wasn't as bad as people are claiming, and it's been pretty frustrating. That Rams team's really good, and we just lost our best player, and it's week 1, and people are like, well, the Rams, it took them 3 quarters. They had none of their starters played, but really none of our starters played very much in the preseason either. So it's kind of like it's kind of like a definitely a double standard here. I'm gonna let him inside. Come on. So Carr, it's easy to look at Carr and feel like he didn't play well. But he played pretty well the first half. I think he was 20 of 24. I felt like we were going to win that game. I didn't necessarily feel like we were going to win that game going in, but at the first half, I was like, wow, we're really hanging with this team. You look at the rest of our schedule, that's the toughest team we'll play. I really think that. I think that that's a team that is my favorite to win the Super Bowl this year, if it's not the Raiders. So, I don't know. It was frustrating. Allie, what do you mean things with the Bears change? Like, do I think they'll be better with Khalil Mack? Probably. Do I think that they'll win a ton of games? I don't know if he'll make it enough. Obviously, he didn't. They lost. But anyway, I don't know. It was frustrating, but what's been really frustrating is to see the reactions. I mean, it's week 1. I think week 1 is the most important week in the season, but I also think it's the least telling week of the season. So that could be really good, that could be really bad. Last week, when we were all ready to say we're Super Bowl champions, and by week 3 we were one of the worst teams in the NFL, or we felt that way. But I'm not like jumping ship. Obviously, I will never jump ship, but I'm like not freaking out. And honestly, like, I don't know what to expect this year. And I don't know what to expect next year or moving forward. I really don't know what's going on. But as I said before, if Gruden's going to rebuild his team, he better do it his way, because he's only going to have one crack at it. Yeah, I don't know. It was kind of a frustrating night, but what's been frustrating is to see a lot of the reactions. A lot of people who have been saying, like, Carr isn't the guy, and Carr needs to go, and whatever. But it's like, those are the same people who are praising him when he throws more game-winning touchdowns in a season than any quarterback in NFL history. So it's like, I agree. I think he's a little shell-shocked from being hurt as much as he has been. And he might be hearing ghosts, and that's normal. It takes a little bit of time to come back from, but he's not pulling an RG3. He's not out there. Yeah, he threw 3 interceptions. One was super bad. One was not a great throw, and that was why. And the other one wasn't even his fault. Like, Jared Cook, it was a miscommunication, so it was partially his fault, but Jared Cook cut his route off, and Derek led him. And you can't do that when Marcus Peters is following, so that's what happened. It's not like it was the worst quarterback performance in the history, and that's what people will make you think. They'll also talk about him missing Amari a lot because they look at the numbers. And don't be a numbers fan. I mean, numbers tell a story, but they don't tell the whole story. Yeah, Amari Cooper might have been averaging whatever it was, 3.69 yards of separation a play, but what that number doesn't tell you is where in Derek's progression Amari was when he was 3.69 yards of separation. Because if Amari is Derek's first read and he's covered and he doesn't have that separation yet, Derek has got to move on. And all of everybody in the world would be complaining if Derek sat there and stared down Amari until he had his however much separation. So, should he have targeted Amari? Probably a few more times. Is it a telling thing about Derek? No, not at all. And I think in the game plan, the idea was to have those incredible corners, which they are, and focus on Amari and Jordy Nelson and our wide receivers, and to go underneath to our tight ends and our running backs. And that's exactly what happened. I think Derek Carr was following the script. And you know what? You want to sit there and be like, he would have looked at Cook too much. But Cook had more, I think it was more receiving yards than any Raider in history this week. I don't know if that's true or not, but he had a lot. He had a great game. Maybe it's any Raider tight end. I don't know. But it was a frustrating night, but it also showed a lot of promise. Now, this is the week to watch. Denver's feeling themselves right now, and they shouldn't be. They've almost lost to the Seahawks, and everyone's like, the Seahawks are great. The Seahawks from 3 years ago were great. The Seahawks now with no Richard Sherman, no Michael Bennett, Doug Baldwin is hurt. Probably the worst offensive line in all of football. No Jimmy Graham, and they won by 3. It really shouldn't be like the Broncos shouldn't be that difficult. If we lose to Denver, that's when we should start to question things and really analytically look at things. And that's how the season's going to go for me. I really feel like, if anything, I don't know what to expect, but if anything, this season is going to be me looking at all of our players that I can, watching as much, and seeing who I like moving forward and who I think we should get rid of. Because I think the purge is just starting. I really do feel that way. I feel like Gruden is really trying to rebuild this team, and I really feel like not a single person on that team is safe, with the exception of Derek. But people have been saying that Gruden could cut him next year, and it wouldn't be financially that big a deal. I don't know. But Derek's my favorite player in the NFL, and I definitely don't want that. So I want to see Amari have a big game this week. I want to see more out of our running game, more consistency. I want to see Derek have a better game this week. I want to see our young defensive line do something. PJ Hall's not playing. He's hurt. We brought in Jonathan Hankins, which is a move I would have absolutely drooled over. I've been waiting for the Raiders to do, and I would have loved it if it had happened 2 or 3 years ago. But, I mean, he's still young. He's like 26. But he's been around for a long time, and he's been okay. Jelly Ellis, I think, is out as well. So I want to see Maurice Hurst do something. I want to see Arden Key do something. The same stuff. I want to watch how Colton Miller handles Von Miller or Bradley Chubb. I think it's going to be Von Miller. Also, don't take into consideration too much. Not that I don't agree with him. But Von Miller came out and he said the Raiders have the best offensive line in all of football. People think the Cowboys do, but it's really the Raiders. Don't listen to him. Why would he say anything else this week? He doesn't play the Cowboys this year. Why would he say anything else? That is his opportunity to come out, and if he has a big game, he wants to win Defense Player of the Year, whatever. He has a big game, it's, he had a big game against the best offensive line in football. And if he has a really bad game, it's, they have the best offensive line in football. I don't pay any attention to what that fool says. He's incredibly talented football player, but I don't care what he has to say about our offensive line. They can show it on Sunday, and that's all that matters. So yeah, those are kind of the things I'm looking for. Martavis Bryant got re-signed. That is like the weirdest thing I've ever heard in my life. I don't want to speculate on why. There's debate about guaranteed money and whatever else. I don't know. I feel like, to me, if I had to speculate, something happened where the Raiders thought that he was going to be suspended a lot quicker than he has been, and something popped up that makes it seem like he won't, or not for a while, so they felt we could utilize him. And I had a feeling that we would bring him back next year, because Gruden even said that once this whole suspension business was gone, but I've never heard of a team trading for a player, cutting that player before week 1, after week 1 re-signing that player when there was no injuries to the wide receiver core. It's a little bit odd. Anyway, that's what I'm looking for. Let me know what you think. I'll tell you what I feel on the video. And like this video if you do, dislike it if you don't, and tell me why. Leave a comment, tell me what you think, and subscribe if you haven't. Just win, baby.